Alright, so we know we got like.
Really.
You gotta have the magic touch, man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the magic touch. Alright.
What's up, bud?
Over here.
How you doing, man?
Welcome to Schmoo Talk.
Schmoo Talk it is.
First episode. Big deal.
Number 1.
Smoking tobacco, don't smoke.
Exactly. Smoke responsibly, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Tobacco.
There are no sponsors of this video.
Exactly.
This is a really bad placement for everything.
Yeah, it's a good way to start, you know?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about, the sponsorship we don't have yet. Exactly.
So let's get to the point of what Schmoo Talk is. Schmoo Talk is a rolling podcast, okay? So
like on wheels, or?
Yes.
So we fucking right off the tracks.
we're going.
Oh boy.
So we pick a topic,
mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter where it goes. We just have a starting topic, and we just roll with it.
Okay.
And then from there, it's all fair game.
Gotcha.
So Schmoo in the movie Lucky Number 7 was a fruit or a food you'd eat.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever you wanted it to taste like.
Gotcha.
All right. So the idea is like it's just whatever people want to listen to is the idea of Schmoo Talk.
It is what you want it to be.
It is what you want it to be. So
I like that.
And hopefully down the road, if I can get enough episodes, it just develops into whatever. But
exactly,
it's fun.
Well, yeah,
this isn't meant to go crazy.
Right.
It's a fun time.
Right.
Now,
so where are we at right now? Is this do we call this House of Schmoo?
House of Schmoo. This is my gaming room.
Oh, this is
my little sanctuary. That all being said, I'm going to throw this out there. This podcast isn't meant to offend. It is probably going to get on touchy subjects if you don't like what you hear. Sorry. Okay? There you can change the station, but it's all for fun. It's all for fun. It's like a comment.
You can't have fun doing it, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, don't be a hater. It's just for fun. We're just here to get on those touchy subjects every now and then too. But don't sit there and be like, this guy is a piece of shit. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Exactly.
It's like we're not going to get into politics.
No.
We're not doing that. But today's topic is a fun one.
Okay.
Today's topic is a fun one.
All right. Oh, we got cards and shit?
Got the cards.
Let's do it. All right.
One day we'll probably just like pick this out of a hat.
Exactly. Like, whose line is it anyway?
And hopefully
where the points don't matter.
Hopefully our tobacco will just it's our liquid courage. Okay, so today's topic is
liquid courage. I like that.
What makes a sports star great? Oh boy.
What makes a sports star great?
Great.
Now, are we talking sports athlete? Are we talking just sports stars in general? Or can it be players, coaches?
Yeah.
Announcers?
I mean,
I
think that the criteria is the athlete themselves.
Okay.
The athlete themselves. Because coaches, you can get into a big thing. That Lil Wayne song. Coaches coach, cheerleaders cheer.
Oh, I know.
So
I'm with you.
We're there.
So,
exactly. So, what, Taylor, makes a sports star great? Hit me.
What makes a sports star great? Well, for me, this can go a million different ways, obviously, because, it's a matter of everybody's opinion and things like that. Now, and it's kind of a weird one for me because it's very, like, I can almost get indecisive with myself because I'm a numbers guy. I have always been a numbers guy. Numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? And that is the cold hard truth when it comes down to it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
And that's where the issues arise, obviously. You know what I mean? And we can throw out all kinds of names. And, if we're going to throw out names, one that I feel should probably, none of us enjoy that he's at the top of this fucking list, but he is at the top. And Sir Thomas Brady.
Patrick Edwards.
Patrick Edwards Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Well, you have to have a model. You have to have somebody to model it after.
And, honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, for us growing up, watching him and stuff, it's like, you were obviously a New England fan, and which makes sense, it's awesome. And, of course, for me, being from Missouri, closer to St. Louis, it's one of those where naturally I was just a St. Louis Rams fan. Now, of course, my favorite team ever is,
Greatest show on turf.
It's the greatest show on turf, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
we know, I know. So,
definitely
so.
They were doing shit that hadn't been done, and it was impressive to watch. It was absolutely, it was amazing. I mean, they changed the sport.
I think so. This is coming. I get what you're saying. So innovation maybe might be in there
for sure.
But I think when we talk about that topic,
and this is football.
That's just football.
If someone doesn't understand the names, it is football.
So. I think you do take great athletes from a lot of sports.
So
you can take then you got to say, well, what do each of them have in common? Mm-hmm. So like you can take Tom Brady.
Yep.
You can take Serena Williams.
Yep.
Kobe, because I'm not going to say LeBron. I'm a LeBron hater. It's fair. But I guess somebody can argue that.
That's fine. That's
NASCAR. Who do you got?
Huh.
Who would you say is the best in NASCAR? It's a sport.
I mean, here's the thing, and just like I said, I can get indecisive with myself because I am a numbers guy.
Yeah.
But when it's one of those things where it's like he proved that he was the best time and time again. I mean, we have to go with Mr. Seven Time. I mean, Jimmy Johnson. I'm sorry, he don't get the credit he deserves.
No.
Here's the thing.
No.
Him and Tom Brady. Those are two goats right there. I promise you. It's like, yes, of course, NASCAR community and things like that. It's like everyone wants to say Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty. It's like, I get it. Trust me. They're my favorites too.
But
it's
when
like
the sport evolved.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where it's like, guys, you have to look at it all around. And it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like, and Jimmy, didn't retire, but he got away from NASCAR.
Fair enough, yeah.
After years of doing it, after being the man, he was the man. Just kind of like Tom Brady, hated by most.
Yeah, no, a lot of people didn't like
him. They didn't.
To be fair, I know that Gordon Harvick Jr. for sure during that time frame was big.
Oh my God, yeah.
For Jimmy Johnson to win was a big deal.
It was massive.
In the sense because he kept Xing out the should-be's.
And it was one of those things where it's like, and he wasn't the guy that should have done it.
That's something that should-be's. Yeah. He wasn't a should-be.
No, I mean, he raced motorcycles. He was like a dirt bike guy. And all of a sudden, he just kind of like, appears somehow. It's like somewhere Jeff Gordon saw him and was like, hey, we need to make something happen with him. It's like, he has potential here, And it took a great to notice a great.
Yeah, because they were partners.
Yeah, they were teammates.
Partners,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's one of those things now where it's like, and here's how crazy it is because, of course, we come in at that time, of course, because like that, it's like Jeff Gordon, he started racing NASCAR in the early 90s and shit, So it's like, I was born in 91. So, it's like, I was little, obviously. It's like, it's like one of my first memories of NASCAR, which is terrible because I love NASCAR, but it's honest to God, it's like one of my very first memories of NASCAR was 2001. And that was when Dale Sr. got killed. It made national news.
I watched it. I remember. Because the tone was always, and still is,
yes,
the race.
Oh, it's the race.
We know.
Yes.
And so I was there, and I know nothing about it, but I knew everybody freaked out.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's like, when Dale Sr. passed away, I mean, that was like losing one of the biggest figures in the world. You know what I mean? And it's so wild because it's like, man, it's like the amount of people. I mean, they literally mourned.
Who won the race?
Michael Waltrip, actually, which was even more sad in a sense because DW, Darrell Waltrip, the boogity, that guy, he was calling the race. And he was in tears of joy because his brother Mikey just won it. He's like, "You've got it, Mikey! You've got it!"
I didn't know that. I didn't know they were brothers.
And Michael Waltrip, he's number 33. He was the Napa car. That's who he was. But he was cheering for him, and he was like, "Oh, Crash, with Dale Sr." And he's like, "I hope he's okay."
And
You know, and it was one of those things where it's like it was.
He said he was 33.
No, his number was 33.
His number was
car number was 33.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that was Dale Senior's team. Is who Michael Waltrip drove for.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's straight close to home.
Yeah, and see, Kevin Harvick was the kid that took over Senior's car. Of course, it wasn't number 3.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be number 3, and they said
respect. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
and they literally said it's like we need to take the next available number as quickly as we can get it.
Yeah,
and they said 29 is the next available number, and they said we'll take it, and that's what Kevin Harvick ran, and he won that year.
He won the title.
He didn't win the title. He won a race. But he was a rookie. He was a kid rookie.
Yeah, he has won one.
Harvick?
Yeah, he's won one.
Oh, he's won 4, I think. Something like that. Maybe. Something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. But he's won a couple at least.
Did you see that Frankie Muniz? Malcolm in the Middle himself?
Yeah. He's joining ARCA. But
I always knew he was a race car driver.
Been racing for years.
If you followed him, Malcolm in the Middle, biggest star on there, blah, 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 aside from Brian
Cranston.
Yeah,
exactly.
That being said, it's like, good for him.
Oh.
Pursuing his dream.
Shit, man. That's amazing.
Does that make him a great sports star?
You know, he is a motor sports star. Is he great? No. Sorry.
But there's time.
Is he?
Was
he great in Malcolm in the Middle?
Oh yeah,
100%.
Seen the series more than once.
Yeah. But no, as far as like great athlete or great sports athlete, it's one of those where it's like no.
Great person.
No.
Great,
but honestly, talking about not that we're gonna stick in this lane for that long, but it is talking about like a Kevin Harvick, a Michael Waltrip, a Darrell Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Sr. I mean, yes, in my eyes, it's like those are great sports stars because not only were they fantastic on the track,
but
off the track, man. So, what they did and I know it all sounds cliche and shit, but it is one of those where it's like, man, for all that they did for the racing community, the race tracks. I mean, that's what people understand. It's like, did you see where? I mean, this just happened. We'll have to look up to make for sure as far as who the actual 4 is, but like Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think Mark Martin, and somebody else. They just bought like the ARCA series.
Oh yeah.
They own that fucking racing series.
They're trying to brand off.
They already have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cool. And then another cool thing too, especially like with Dale Jr. He does like the Lost Speedways thing. It's on Hulu, or not Hulu, but Peacock.
Yeah.
But anyways, they just go around and they find old racetracks that are decrepit and they've been forgotten about, abandoned, and shit like that. And they actually did that for a track, and they got it. It's called North Wilkesboro, and they did that for that track. And Dale Earnhardt on iRacing called them the people behind it. It was like, this track is not on here to race. And they're like, well, I mean, yeah, the last race was in like 96. It's like, it ain't been a track in 30 years, And he's like, I understand that. He's like, but I think that it needs to be on here. It's like, you have throwback cars. Why can't we have throwback tracks? And they're like, Dale, that's actually not a bad idea. And they're like, do you think that you could set that up? And he's like, I know the owner. So he called the guy, and he was like, hey, he's like, this is what we want to do. And the owner of the track was like, damn. It's like, man, it ain't been touched. I mean, it's grown up. Things have collapsed. It's like, you can't. It's dead. You can't bring that back to life. And Dale's like, we need to try. He's like, we just need to have it good enough so that iRacing can come down, scan the surroundings and the track so that they can put it on iRacing for the simulator so people can race on it. And they went down there. They got everybody together, and they went and cleaned up the track. Dale Earnhardt Jr. himself, I mean, like, on rollers and shit. Like, they were weed eating. They were, mowing and all kind. I mean, they're scrubbing walls. I mean, it was crazy. I
bet when I assume they're going to race it.
They already have.
So that means
it's actually going to be the All-Star race for NASCAR this year.
Imagine.
They're racing at fucking North Wilkesboro, John. This track, it can only hold. This place can only hold like 30,000 people.
Yeah, we're talking like and corresponding. It's like
They're bringing.
It's a field of dreams.
It's 100% a field of dreams.
That's
yes.
what it is. It's a field of dreams racetrack. These people are coming in, and it's going to feel so nostalgic because it's a piece of history we're leaving.
Yes.
We're leaving it right there, and we want it painted, pinstriped to its prime, right how it should be. We want the corn stalks in the background.
Yeah, man.
We don't want anybody touching it, and we want the rowdy race fans.
That's exactly right.
And we want the old cars. Now,
that
whether they
won't
do
happen.
that, yeah, we do.
We do. But that was the cool thing.
You know, one thing I gained from that,
mm-hmm.
that we see a lot more these days. A lot more. And I mean, it's nothing that hasn't been done.
Right.
But you got on your thing with Dale. And what it makes me think is like, how many of these sports stars, you know, I get that they can live comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
But we can talk about probably one of the most hated men to do it. But I like him. Tony Romo, you know, does it too. How many of these athletes, Terry Bradshaw,
mm-hmm.
again, yeah, this is football, but
mm-hmm.
it go into commentary because they want to be a part of the sport.
Yes.
Doesn't that, when we talk about them as an all-time, don't you wonder, like, if that actually plays a factor that we don't give it credit for?
Right.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, because the knowledge that these guys, I mean, look, a lot of people don't like Tony. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
We all
Trust
do.
me, we all get it.
We get it.
But at the same token, how many times has he called something and it's been spot?
Oh, dude, I mean, more times than not.
Yes. Yeah.
He's criticized for it. They're just like, how the fuck does Tony Romo? Yeah. It's like, because people, he knows the game.
So, I mean, their information is still valuable.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're going to describe it and put you in that position better than anybody else.
Oh, for sure.
So I do think that plays a small part, but that's going to only be contributed after the fact.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
And I think that does, like, when I think, like, the person I thought of was, like, Terry Bradshaw, because people forget he won the Super Bowl 4 times, and he's a broadcaster and been a broadcaster.
Yep.
A lot of those guys have, but I mean, him in particular, it's like, just remember, he's been in the sport, helping the sport, developing the sport along for all those years.
Well, you know what's ironic about you going into the broadcasting aspect? And it's so wild that you did that. It segues perfectly. But all them guys that I just talked about in NASCAR,
every one of them has a podcast.
It's not only that, they are all broadcasters.
Well, there you go. That just goes to prove it.
That's my whole point.
They love the sport so much they don't want to get away from it.
They know.
And they find ways to keep it going. I mean, Peyton Manning. I mean, places with Peyton.
Small
No, he's okay.
Yeah.
Spotted a mile away.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But,
that ugly mug. Yeah.
Stupid smile.
He fucking scares small children. You know? He's an ugly son of a bitch. But
so
on
my list, what I would say, I know I'm fun with it rolling everywhere,
mm-hmm.
but I would say I put down a couple things, and I think titles. Whether people like that or not,
titles,
I'm not
rings, championship trophies.
You can't ignore it.
No.
Because and here's the thing with titles, it's not the reason that they're important
mm-hmm.
is for engagement.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people think, well, you know, this guy won this many titles and it was in 3 years. He won 3 titles in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then after that,
mm-hmm.
he played for 8 more years and didn't win a thing.
Yep.
When I think of greats, when we go to Serena,
mm-hmm.
because those titles gauge where they're at every point in their career.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are some that have a separation, but if you can win a title here and here,
mm-hmm.
nobody is to assume that you were down here at any point in between.
Mm-mm. No.
That you would have been at the lower point. Mm-mm. So for me, it's like when we talk about titles, it's more of a gauge for consistency.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree with that.
Then
which can be so inconsistent.
Oh, I agree.
That's the irony of
that.
But
I
judge it from consistency because it takes consistency to get that. But at the same time,
those years can be so vastly different with rookies coming in out. You just
look at. I mean,
teammates.
Yeah.
I would say then we do time.
Yeah.
Longevity is the key to greatness. Okay, I hate to break a lot of people's bubbles, but it's one of those where you can win a title in the beginning,
mm-hmm.
go 4 years, and you're nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many people on football teams, sadly, have won a Super Bowl?
Mhm.
Can you name every player?
Absolutely not.
No.
And how many of those players don't get any credit?
Yeah.
Because they have no name.
Exactly.
They're not the quarterback. They're not the wide receiver.
And that's fair. But
they're
just
not
saying,
the one in the end zone. They're the linemen, the hard-nosed sumbitches that are
mm-hmm.
really fighting the whole game that don't get the credit.
And that's the funny thing, because that will bring me to the third point.
Mm-hmm.
Storybook.
Yeah.
Is it storybook? Like, so when we talk about, like, I know you love Kurt Warner, greatest show on turf. Well, that's storybook.
Well, yeah.
That's why they made it a movie.
Exactly.
Grocery store worker, Super Bowl champion.
So it makes him one of the greats.
So, sadly,
In my opinion.
you got to have a story in there. And sometimes it's got to have its downs. But if you just have a career where it's like, yeah, he won 2 back-to-back.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds good. It seems good.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know, what made that year good? How did they get good? Did you get the comeback?
Right.
Is that how you won?
Exactly.
You know, was it overtime? What was it?
Right. No, you're right. I mean,
so I think those, when you have athletes that fulfill those areas, that's what makes them stand out. Now, there's always going to be superstars that, you know, maybe not have the team around them to get it. We know, like,
we see it all the time. We
Iverson,
see it every day.
Iverson was one of the best, probably never.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's like, yes, there are standalone athletes, 100% in every sport. But it's honestly one of those things too, where it's like, not necessarily in the ball sports,
yeah,
but like in motorsports,
yeah,
you can really see that it's the money behind the teams that create greatness. And I tell you, and I understand how that sounds, because yes, there has been comebacks. There has been guys on no-name teams, pioneers, pirateers that go and win. It's been done. It's been done many times. Obviously, it's been proven. But when we talk consistency and we start piling on championships, there's a reason that there are not standalone athletes in motorsports, but standalone teams. Because here's the thing. Every one of those drivers that's racing in NASCAR right now has the capability of winning every race.
Yeah.
They're all just as good as the other one.
You know, the best part to me, and this happened earlier this year, if you haven't seen it, I know a lot of people have, it was all over SportsCenter, was the fourth corner wall run.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So, if you don't know, kid took the wall, he's going around the racetrack, needs to get 2 more places, slams on the gas, hits it, gets it going, and it's my cat. So needs to get the 2, slams it, slingshots himself around the 4th wall in the NASCAR race, gets past the 2 guys by a cone of his car.
Yeah.
Good Lord. And advances on to stay in the hunt for the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds remarkable. It was remarkable.
Oh, that's one of the greatest moments in NASCAR.
The only thing that stood out to me, bud, was he went into that wall and slingshot himself around. Super dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
When they talked about his stats, he didn't let off that pedal. I mean, he floored it, 5th gear, wide open. Definition of wide open. The statistics showed, the numbers showed, he didn't even let off 1% of that gas.
He did not lift 1%.
That means he held that pedal down.
Fully committed.
Just death or nothing. It's win or death. It's either or. You know what I mean? He did not care. He was like, I'm doing it.
Yep, it had to be done.
And he wrote it out. And it worked.
It was...
Now, here's the thing. Now, that guy, I'm not going to say never, because I don't know him.
Okay.
Let's say he never wins the title.
Ross?
Let's say he never wins one.
Okay.
Great sports star.
Oh, 100%.
You know why? Because in that one moment, he proved he wants it.
Oh, man. I mean,
he wants it.
He was the hungriest cat out there to win.
See what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't need all that longevity and all that. That's a great sports star. He won.
He did.
Willing to die for it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like that's why it's such an awesome subject, because it's one of those things where it's like, man, it's like there's just certain things about all of them that make them great. I mean, we can even like pile in like UFC. How many great athletes?
Who's best? Hit me right now. What you got?
Ooh, UFC. George St. Pierre, GSP, all day long.
All right.
Sorry.
I agree. Second.
It's undeniable.
Second runner-up.
Chael Sonnen. Yeah, Uncle Chael.
I love Uncle Chael. Amanda Nunes. Number 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. She's the first fighter to have both belts. She's the first fighter to defend both belts. She's the first fighter to lose and get it back. Bad bitch. All right, respectively, that's a bad bitch.
Oh, dude.
Ain't one to fuck with.
No.
Okay?
No.
So, to me, it's like...
I think everybody was like Conor McGregor.
No, I'm talking pure greatness of all, but, evolution-wise, if you talk like evolution, those two, Ronda, and arguably in their time period, one of the best. And then you also have Matt Hughes, who... you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you can't put it all there. Like, hey, we're not discrediting those
generational.
people, but if I had to put it on a name, those would be my 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty easy. And whether I like it or not, I'm not a Jones fan, but
I mean, he is. I mean, he is one of the greats. Now
it speaks for itself.
Is he great for the sport?
No, sorry.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, we all like a little bit of rowdiness and shit. It's like, it is what it is, But, damn. It's like his deal, it's like...
the problem is these athletes and stars, one, I'm never going to say they're underpaid.
Right.
They're making, why aren't we learning from our mistakes?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we put such a big weight on our own shoulders and shit we don't have to? We got enough. It's like, you're a UFC fighter.
Yeah.
You're a young champion. I get it. Where is your parent? I don't know. But even at my age, it's like, I'm 32, but, I was young when I was in the military, and I still asked advice.
Right.
I still learned and grew in that period. This man was 24 years old winning a title.
He likes to party, bro.
Yeah, where's the people telling him, hey, bud, let's think about the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about the money.
Well, you would at least thought that, like, and who knows? Maybe it was one of those things where it's like, maybe he just fooled a lot of people. Here's the thing. It's like people that actually kind of get into that shit, especially somebody like that. It's like, obviously he likes to party and have a good time and shit, but it's like, obviously at the same time, you know that he can keep a secret. And it's also one of the things, too, where it's like, and he could always say, it's just paparazzi blowing shit out of proportion.
Yeah.
Maybe his coaches honestly didn't know. Maybe they didn't realize, like, oh, yeah, this dude's all fucking coked up and stuff. It's like, I don't know. People get good at hiding shit.
I suppose.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to defend him or nothing. It's just one of those where it's like...
And I can agree with that, but it's like, shouldn't we, as young sports stars, they really need that guidance to where it's like, look, I honestly believe that every sports star should have to have a trust. 5% has to go in for your career.
Yeah.
Until you are done.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason.
Yeah.
So many of them go bankrupt or make bad decisions that it's like, he's just lucky he had the record he had. Because you realize if he would have had any losses on his record, minus the DQ, we know how that goes. We've said it a million times. We know. The world knows. If he would have had one loss on his record, I don't think he's valuable. You have that many incidents. You're beatable. We already know you're beatable. But
exactly. Yeah. You're not. Yeah. And I think that's.
I think that was his only saving grace.
Well, it still is.
I agree.
Still is. It's the only thing that keeps him relevant.
Yeah. Hasn't been beat.
No. No. People I mean, they know. It's like his record. No one gives a shit about his record. They're just like, no one has seen him get like really beat. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, we've seen it come close, but like definitively, like, oh, he way lost that, but it was just, the judges gave it to him. It's like, he don't have that.
Nope.
It was always the other way around.
Yeah.
If it went 5 rounds, it was.
Well, he's had a lot of 5-rounders, and I mean, there's some that we can debate. You know, the Dominic Reyes one.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that's
debate.
one of the closest ones.
Yeah. But.
And it still was.
Gustafsson was pretty close too.
It was a good fight. That was actually a good fight.
But I think that he won it too.
Oh, he did.
I did think he won that one. But yeah.
John Jones. Man, it's one of those where it's like you don't even want to say he's great, but it's like, man, he is a great he's a great athlete. He is a great athlete. That's what I'll say again. It's like I don't think he's great for the sport. But he is great at the sport.
It's amazing.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird one to say. Like I kind of feel like a dickhead saying that, but it's.
But it's weird too. I think there does become like a weird obsession with sports and the fall from grace.
Well, the
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's like we said. Oh well, is it what we're interested in seeing him? Who's going to beat him?
Right.
Or do we want to see how far from grace is this the end?
Yeah.
A lot of people, that's it. Is this the end of that?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the end of this person? Is it the end of that person?
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair to these people, we don't take into consideration the day in and day outs.
No, not at all.
We think 7 days a week that they're just doing what they want to do and living the good life.
Yeah.
Even in the off season, when, I mean, good grief.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know.
I'm sure they get a little bit more time, but a lot of them have kids.
Well,
a lot of them still got to be a parent just like everybody else.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that some people probably neglect it and rub it off whenever they can. I'm sure that's what money does. It changes people.
It does.
But I don't think we consider the amount of work that goes in. So when those fall offs come, they can hit hard. They can hit really hard. And I can only imagine for those athletes as well, when you take a loss or have that losing season and you go, how many years do I have left doing this? And not just, okay, well, I may have 7-8 years left in the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that younger generation that comes up that's always getting better and better and better, well, they're going to axe at least 3 or 4 of those years off pretty easily because I won't be able to compete with them.
Yeah.
And it's not to be disrespectful to those people. Yeah, there's a lot of people that can. I get
for
that.
sure. Yeah.
It does happen. The old dogs win. But as they come, eventually your time does too. And,
exactly.
And I do feel like a lot of them get cut short because...
Well, and the thing about it is too, I mean...
And we're hard on them.
For sure.
We're hard on them for that. And it's like...
And the problem is...
We be?
No, because the thing is, especially...
Should fighting have an age group? Should it have a 40 up?
That's actually a pretty good debate there.
Should fighting be 40 years and up?
I wouldn't want it to be. It's one of those things, man, where it's just like, even like Mike Tyson, take for instance, it's like, he just fought like not that long ago.
Bad dude.
He's a bad motherfucker. It's like, you still don't want to fuck with him. But at the same time, me, like, as a human, I'm just like, oh my, no.
Mike had the look too, though.
I'm just like,
people gave him shit for that tattoo. That tattoo still doing justice.
The thing about it is,
if Mike Tyson looked at me in the eyes with that tattoo and looked angry, I'd be like, all right, bud.
Do you realize that it's like nowadays, it's like most people don't even know him without it?
Oh yeah.
People don't even see it.
Yeah. I
don't see it. I look at him and it's like, I know it's there, but it's also one of the things too where it's like, it's fucking Mike Tyson. Don't,
That's what power does, baby.
It's
like when you're that
I
guy.
was the baddest man on the fucking earth, dude.
If he wants to do it, you're gonna respect him.
It's like at one time, I mean, he still is a bad motherfucker, but it's like, but at one time, I was the baddest motherfucker on this planet.
Oh man.
There was not a person on this planet that wanted to fuck with him. They acted like they did. They got it figured out real quick. You know what I mean? That was the greatest thing about Mike. Everybody wanted to be like Mike.
Well, this is Mike right here.
Hey! Where's your tattoo?
He's getting some gray on him.
I can see that. He's getting old, isn't he?
It's 6.
6? How many is that in cat years?
I don't know.
Do cats age like dogs? Are they different?
He's a handsome fella. He's annoying sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder though. I mean, you put a 40-year-old in there with a, 25-year-old.
It's the fight game though,
it is the fight game. It is different. What it is.
It is, and it's like.
And I'm not trying to discredit. We know, like,
no.
I just think, like, to myself, because it can happen to anybody. I think about Sage Northcutt. Oh. Did you see his uppercut that he took?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When he went to 1?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't heard of him since.
I haven't either. He I think he's still a part of like Redcon or something.
I'm sure that he
has like he's still an influencer or something.
That punch killed that man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god,
that
was a scary, scary knockout.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's
that one hit.
But that was a young one, and that happened to a young person.
And
that makes you wonder too. It's like, well,
I mean, it can happen to anybody though. It really can. And it's like, and that kid was a stud. It's like he had a good look. He was stout. He was awesome. He has a hell of a kick. He was a good fighter. But
just goes to show anything can happen.
The guys he fought were just a little better.
He had good wins. I think if they would develop him now, like they did, like for Sugar.
Oh, maybe.
I'm not saying feed him cans. I'm saying just give him nice development.
Can he take a hit like that again?
No.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, how many years did that knock off?
No. Well, okay, controversial.
How far behind did that one hit put him?
Let me ask you, is the NFL going to let him play again, DeMar?
Are they? I haven't heard.
What would you do? Would you let DeMar, after taking the hit, going through what he went through,
right?
Do you let him play again? Even if you knew, and the doctor said, well, it was a fluke. The chances of this happening were just astronomical. But because it happened, do you let him play? You're in the hot seat.
Here's the thing, like the actual, like the human being, and like, if I was like a parent kind of thing, it's like no. It's like, I don't want him to play again. It's like, he don't need to. It's like, man, it's like, dude, it's like that. You were dead, bud. It's like, you might not want to chance that again. It's like, listen, it's like, we understand you're 24 years old. You're a young man. You just started this shit, But it's one of those where it's like, if I was, and I know that they probably can't. I guess that sounds dumb too. But it's like, I guess if I was like the organization or like an organization that understood that felt any kind of like, damn, dude, like that sucks, especially because he was a good player. It's one of them where it's like, keep him in the sport. Don't let him play, but keep him in the sport.
Fair enough. I would agree. He
don't have to be a broadcaster or nothing. But it's like,
I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it. I don't think he can be. I don't think you can risk it, because let's say, on the off chance something happened again.
Oh, I mean,
there you go. That's it.
That just killed that sport, damn near.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, it's one of those where it's like, look, you got past the first one. Let's not push it.
Well,
so
I mean, think about how
if it happens again, they're done. So you have to think to myself. It's like, the good thing I heard is, one, they are paying him his full contract.
Good.
So even he's on injured reserve, he's getting paid out full. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I pray that they are taking care of his medical bills, because I mean, his contract's only about $3.4 million as a whole. Which I'm not saying isn't a great significant amount of money in its own right, but big picture for somebody that maybe had already made plans for a bigger life.
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He might have thought, oh, if I get an extension, this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
So, you live your lifestyle the way you do. He needs that money now to make sure that he at least cover what he has. Yeah. That medical bills, I mean, 1 week in the hospital.
There was a lot of donations too, though. Luckily.
Yes, yeah.
Luckily.
So I'm saying, that's covered, because that could easily be $400,000.
Yeah, I mean,
which is just a chunk of what he's trying to make.
Yeah, it's like there was a bunch of players donating money.
So we cover that, and I think that, like you said, he's getting. We know his toy foundation is doing great.
Yep.
I don't know what it was at. Last I saw was 5.5, might be more million.
Good.
But then we sit there and we think, okay, I'm with you. It's like now he's got a memorable toy donation. He made national news, all that good stuff. Give him a spot off the sport.
Yep.
Get him, keep him on the team. I think you got to stay in Buffalo.
100%. That's what I'm saying.
You have to
keep him part of the organization.
Yeah, like,
but make him a
personal trainer,
assistant coach.
Hey, I want to be like the guy that saved my life.
Exactly.
How about that?
Exactly.
You know,
yes.
I want to, you know,
yeah.
Tell if I'm that guy's agent, if I'm his agent, say, hey, you know what you should do?
Exactly.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That way, it's like because you appreciated it so much to be alive that you want to make sure that your teammates, you saw the love they gave you, you want to give that back to them. Their time of need.
That'd be awesome. That'd be wonderful.
If I'm an organizer, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think, and that's what I'm
and
telling.
And one thing that I guess that he could do too, not to interrupt you, but it was one of those like one thing that he could do as well is I mean he could do foundations. He could raise money for awareness, like a lot of them do. You know, as far as like. I know it was a freak accident, but it's like there's got to be something to that.
Well, it can't be the, you know, Nivet Snipe Steam, but
right.
For my conspiracy guys out
right.
there, gotta stay on the radar. You know, gotta code that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did.
Likes the party, bro.
No, give me another.
No, you know, but
how many of these Pfizer's have we went through? All right.
Shoo.
A little much.
Oh, man.
I'm getting a little on the line. But that's fun. That's just in fun.
That's just in fun.
But do you think that national wrestling, I think in 10 years, national wrestling, collegiate wrestling, I think it's going to overtake a lot of sports.
You know, that's the funny thing about it, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's necessarily going to take over.
And I want to add to that too.
But I think it's going to get bigger.
think
it's coming more into the limelight. You can definitely see that.
I think it is.
You can see it.
I think
it's becoming more relevant. Than it has been.
Here's the other thing. When we look at what's going on with football in this instance, okay, we don't know if it can happen again, when it will happen, this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they have to commercialize it a little bit, and they'll have to make it where it's more of a team sport.
Mm-hmm.
It is a team sport if you know how it works.
Right.
From wins, losses, points, the whole shebang. But they're going to need to really express it as a team sport with your star athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to get hard. But the thing I think that's going to take off is we know MMA is one of the fastest growing sport in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
sorry, 9/11.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
it's a hell of a time to call out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, 9/11.
Oh boy.
Wow.
I thought we were done with conspiracies for today.
We're not talking politics. Anyways.
But I think that seeing the people that develop up,
mm-hmm.
it's like that's somebody giving everything they have.
And you know something?
Less injury prone.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is.
Yeah.
And I think once people understand the rules, it's going to be pretty big.
And you know the thing about it is, I feel that if DeMar,
mm-hmm.
if he doesn't, if of course if they don't allow him to play, but he stays a part of the organization,
mm-hmm.
and he does kind of like what we were saying, makes him a great athlete.
Makes him a great athlete. Yeah. He didn't let one aspect of the sport define him.
Nope. His only limit was his body.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
His goals, dreams, admirations, things like that were much bigger.
Because he can still win. He can still win a ring.
100%.
You know, is he any less of that Is he any less part of that championship team because he couldn't play in the game?
Hell no.
Or
he's the driving factor for the team.
For the team.
I mean,
isn't that crazy?
If there was anything to ever bring a team more together, to give them more ambition, to really get stuff done, is that right there. You know, and it sucks that it takes that sometimes. And it's not that it took it, but it is one of those where it's like, if there was ever an opportunity to really prove something, now's the time.
We hope.
I hope. Here's the thing. It's like,
it's not easy.
Listen.
It ain't going to be easy.
come Super Bowl time, I will have my Josh Allen shirt on.
Oh boy.
You know, just saying.
Not the Travis Kelce one.
No.
Patrick.
No.
Just losing viewers.
No, good.
Well, don't worry. I'll be wearing my Tom Brady one. As he sneaks in.
He does. He
He's
kind
gonna
of tends to
sneak
do
it
that.
in.
He does that
They're
shit.
going to get their run.
Woo!
It's going to be a good year.
Could you imagine that game?
I think that
That would be...
if I had to be honest, if I think who's going to go, I think I'm going to pick 2 teams on each side. I do think Kansas City, Buffalo. I think everybody is.
100%.
They already rescheduled it.
It's either those two.
It's like they rescheduled the whole format to say the championship game between these two.
Exactly.
It's like, that's disrespectful as fuck. And I think that the Eagles or Cowboys. Actually, no, I'm taking it back. It hurts me because I believe Tom can beat the Cowboys. I believe he could do it. But I'm going to go with the numbers. Say Tom Brady. No, I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and I'm going to go with San Francisco.
Ooh.
I think you got Purdy, you got a young quarterback. You're making the future.
Man,
I can see the story
right now.
You almost need an young NFC quarterback with a title right now, because there's not too many over there.
It's very true, but
there's not too many that.
And
with Rodgers retiring, probably Brady's going to be gone. It's like, who's your other winners? Jimmy G. Well, those were backup rings, to be fair, but not to say he didn't contribute.
Does that make him a great athlete?
Jimmy's pretty great athlete.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
No, but yeah.
Well. I think that concludes.
There's a lot of things that make great athletes, apparently.
Yeah.
We didn't narrow that down to anything in particular, but
fun topic.
Like
where it went.
Yeah, but honestly, I think what it does boil down to is just like who is better for the sport in general. Who represents the sport in the best light to make it acceptable for the masses. That is one thing that can separate. Now, being the off guy, edgy, it's like, that's still cool, and people love that as well, but it's like, but that is the other side. That's the yin to the yang, you know what I'm saying? It's like
you kind of got to have it.
It's good and evil.
You can't appreciate one without the other.
Exactly.
You can't appreciate...
It's a baby face, it's a heel. It's like, you have to have the best of both. That's where you have your greats.
Well, that's the separation in general.
And then it's like you have the guys that you're like, oh, I love for them to be great because they're so great. And then you have the guys that you're just like, I don't like that they are, but they're great. It's like you have that group. It's like there could be two sides to that, 100%. But it's like, when it all comes to the head, they're all great athletes.
Love it.
I love it.
Love it.
It's a good one.
Appreciate you coming on.
Oh yeah, anytime. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining Smooth Talk. Till next time.
In the house of Shmoo.